Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, September 8th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. Well, you won't be seeing The Rock anytime soon, just because his movie, The Smashing Machine, is doing incredibly well. He got a 15-minute standing ovation at its recent premiere. And there's already talk of Oscar buzz for The Rock. He may get nominated for an Academy Award. That's the world we are living in. But I will also be going to go see the movie. And some great news. AEW pay-per-views are now available to be purchased through Max. It will be starting with All Out. They will be available for $40. This is good revenue for AEW. They're just not going to get rid of the revenue. And of course, they will also, keep things going on with Prime. So they're not going to really undercut that deal. Tony Khan at the recent 2300 show, as they do have a residency at the 2300 Arena, honored Taz. Taz went into the 2300 Hall of Fame. That building has a lot of history. Matt Riddle no-showed a charity wrestling event in the UK. Took the money. His opponent was supposed to be Simon Miller, of all people, one of the most amazing, lovable, enjoyable people in all professional wrestling. Riddle, of course, got called to the carpet and he eventually gave the money back and has been going on just a kind of a rant and a tear right now. We'll see how Major League Wrestling takes care of him. And other news, MJF backs AEW. Bully Ray says the product is lost, and this is a guy who doesn't actually watch the product. So what is he ultimately talking about? It's just these kind of people are really annoying me. John Cena's last match will be going down at Saturday night's main event, not in Boston, where John Cena is from. That kind of sucks, but again, the Saturday night's main events will be coming on Peacock, so that is a way for people to get eyes on the product. Britt Baker is ready to return. Dynamite will be going to Pittsburgh very soon, and she's just been MIA. She is healthy. She's in good spirits, but obviously we know that there's a lot that has gone on with her in the company. Wade Barrett will be off of commentary for a little bit. We thought this had to do with him essentially cutting a solid piece of story during the Nikki Bella match, and she, playing the victim that she always does, went on Twitter, and this could have just been settled with a phone call. I mean, they work literally in the same building. Speaking of commentary, Bryan Danielson, starting this coming Wednesday on Dynamite, will be joining the AEW commentary team for Dynamite. This is going forward from henceforth. So it looks like the team will be a combination of him, Taz, and Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone. Keep mixing it up, which is always a good thing. It's just good to have the American Dragon back. AJ Lee has made her return, and she also signed a multi-year deal with the WWE. She will be pushed as one of the top stars in the division on the injury side of things. Looks like Wardlow was hurt again. He literally just came back, and looks like he might have a torn pec. That is why we have not seen him with the Don Callis family. We got a couple more AEW injuries. Mark Sterling will be undergoing surgery. He is out with also a torn bicep. Then we have Justin Roberts, who has a broken toe. Will Ospreay will be having his neck surgery very, very soon. And on the WWE side of things, there was an injury to Octagon Jr., I believe. And this will cause a change in the Worlds Collide AAA Mega Championship match. But that is the news, and we shall be right back with the weekend review. All right, you know how we do. Let's get into the weekend review. We started with Monday Night Raw, and we're pushing Punk way too far. We open up with Jey Uso as an in-ring promo. He talks about his injuries and the advice he got from Roman and his family loyalty, but he's ultimately interrupted by LA Knight. And these two spar on the mic before Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker interrupt them, bragging about injuring Roman. And Paul Heyman's not there, so a tag match is issued. Challenge accepted. There we go. The Kabuki Warriors were backstage, and Io apologized. Asuka apologized, brushes it off and says no one is ready for the Kabuki Warriors. Then we had the Kabuki Warriors defeat Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez, with Asuka winning with the Asuka lock. Pierce announces that Io and Stephanie Vaquero will be facing each other for the vacant women's championship at WrestlePalooza. Then we had Finn Balor defeat Dragon Lee with the coup de grace. Backstage, Nikki Bella was chatting with Io, and Asuka objects to Io talking to Nikki. So it looks like we got a little single white female thing going on. Finn Balor and Jada McDonough are banned from ringside for Dom's match. The New Day and Grayson Waller versus Penta and War Raiders ends with the latter team winning as Penta hits the Mexican Destroyer. Rhea Ripley's interview, and she's talking about the tensions escalating between her and the Kabuki Warriors and over the title opportunities. More so that, still she can't beat Io Sky. Also backstage, Roxanne Perez argued with Adam Pearce about a title shot. Lara Valkyria walks in. So a match is made with either Perez or Raquel for next week, as one of them will be taking on Lyra Valkyria. Dominic Mysterio defended the Intercontinental Championship against AJ Styles in a really solid affair, but Dominic Mysterio retained with a little bit of help from El Grande Americano. We got an update on Roman Reigns, who has fractured ribs and he's out indefinitely, but he's also just shooting the Street Fighter movie because he's playing Akuma out of all people. And Paul Heyman has a larynx contusion after Roman choked him out. Jay and Knight vow to work together, but this is an uneasy alliance, and Punk is just spending the time searching for Seth. Rusev has a promo, and he reflects on his match with Sheamus and gives himself one of a kind. So Punk's in the ring, right? And he calls out Seth, but instead of Seth, he gets Becky Lynch. And they have a nice little heated exchange, and Becky defends her husband, buries Punk, and slaps him repeatedly. She's like, while you were away, people were chanting your name, ruining my matches. And Punk's like, I'm not going to say you're just some man's husband, because you're not that. You're the man. You're Becky Lynch. You are an industry icon. Punk tries to get to Seth, and Seth is out there, and Becky just steps in his way, and she keeps slapping him. So Punk's like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure you regret laying your hands on me and ever marrying Seth Rollins. Backstage, Punk hears Seth left the arena, but teases he'll be in Chicago, because that's where SmackDown is at this Friday. And in the main event, Jey Uso and LA Knight versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. The latter team won. After the match, both teams got beat down. Both Jay and LA Knight got beat down, where Jimmy made the save for his brother. So over on Dynamite, we're pushing towards All Out, and we get a couple matches announced. This show gets a thumbs up. We are opening, well, wasn't even a match, it was just chaos. Gabe Kidd calls out Darby Allin, so Darby Allin comes out and they're just fighting. Okay, Darby's got the thumbtack skateboard, Death Riders appear, and there's just a brawl everywhere. Hook comes out to try to take care of Wheeler Yuta. The Ops arrive, rushing right by him, and we got a full arena brawl with Joe, Hobbs, Mox, Claudio, Willa, Marina. Darby dragged Kidd to the back in the body bag with his picture truck, so he's out of here. Darby Allin might have just killed Gabe Kidd. Then we get a video package for our first match finally, which is the TBS Championship, as Mercedes Mone defends against Alex Windsor. And this was a solid technical submission heavy match, but ultimately Mone, how she does, won with a roll up because she's that good. Post match, Windsor wanted to shake her hand. Mercedes broke it off, so Windsor attacked her. Mercedes got the upper hand, beat down Alex Windsor until Riho made the save. So we're getting that match at All Out. Or backstage, Joe and Hobbs were confronted by Hook, and Hook says he doesn't need them, and as soon as I got hurt, you replaced me. And Joe's like, nah, dog. The ops were about opportunity, and there was an opportunity there. You literally got hurt the same day. We could just not take the match. And Joe and Hobbs are like, yo, we will always have you back whether you want to or not. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony challenged the Hurt Syndicate to a trios match, and that match is made and it's going down at All Out. It's good to see the Gates of Agony start to get a push. Mark Briscoe, he was in the ring. He's tired of Don Callis, trashes him, calls him out, and Callis says, listen, all you gotta do is beat one of my peoples to get to Takeshita on Collision to get to Kyle Fletcher. So he ends up defeating Lance Archer with the Froggy Bow, which now he gets the Takeshita match on Collision. We had a couple backstage probes with Toni Storm delivers an eccentric monologue about the AEW's women's division and the title. Renee Paquette's with Chris and Harley looking for a name. Yuta Marina walks in and tells, Chris, you've got our support. Brodido defended the tag team titles versus Yuta and Claudio in a solid, hard-hitting match with Marina Shafir trying to interfere, but ultimately Darby attacked Mox mid-match, allowing Brodido to win as Bandido hit the 21 plex. Backstage, Okada declares himself the top dog in the Don Callis family, which means inevitably we're going to get him versus Takeshita and inject that shit into my fucking veins. The Hurt Syndicate respond to Ricochet's challenge, and they will threaten him and hurt him because, well, they own the business of hurting people. We had an in-ring brawl as Copeland was attacked by FTR. Christian joined the melee, and they had a massive polo brawl with the Ring of Honor roster. Adam Priest gets the upper hand, punching Dak, so they tell him, backstage they tell him, to find a partner for Collision. Dan Garcia also vowed to beat Mox on Collision. In the main event, we had an all-star 8-man tag in a fantastic tag team match. The Young Bucks, Kyle Fletcher and Josh Alexander, defeated JetSpeed, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page. And after the match, Omega got destroyed with a brainbuster through a table, and he did a stretcher job. Omega's going to be doing some work over in Japan. Over on Impact, we're starting to build towards Bound for Glory. This show gets a fist. Our opening promo was Santino announced Trick versus Mike Santana for Bound for Glory. Santana vowed to win for the fans. His daughter on TNA called Trick out for hiding behind lawyers. Moose encouraged Santana backstage and said, listen, we got you. I know how important this is. AJ Francis stirred the pot, so Moose versus AJ is set for next week. We had a segment with the Nemus, Cardona, and Kaz. Ryan had a promo which was interrupted by Matt. They brought up Frankie Kazarian entered, which led to a match with Kaz versus Cardona, with Kaz getting the win after Ryan with a distraction. After the match, Frankie cut a heel promo targeting Steve Macklin's International Championship. We had the Knockout Championship celebration with Ash by Elegance, and the brand just celebrated. They have the Knockout Championship, they have the Tag Team Championships, but ultimately this is interrupted by Masha Slamovich, and the title match is made for Victory Road, which takes place a couple weeks before Bound for Glory. They ended up brawling, but Ash and the Entourage dominate. Laying Lee, Zaya Brookside Inspiration made the save, and which caused the Elegance brand to retreat. Joe Hendry and Eric Young worked together, and Hendry, he thanked the fans. He hyped his NXT and WWE appearances, and he called Eric Young. And Eric and the Northern Army interrupted. Came out, was like, listen, dog, I'm going to cleanse TNA. We're going to fix this company, and we're going to start with you so we get a match for next week. We had some more segments with the Order 4 declaring TNA is hit theirs. Santino teased something with Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel for next week, and Trick cut a promo from his home. He just told the TNA, the fans, Minneapolis, and refused to appear. And in the main event, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, and Mara Shade defeated the Great Hands and Tasha Steelz. After the match, the Neiman's attacked the Hardys and super kicked them and stood tall with all of the belts. Over on SmackDown, this show gets a 2 thumbs up for one reason and one reason only, because it was the return of AJ Lee. So we opened up with seeing everybody arrive like how we always do. John Cena was in Chicago. We're in Chicago. This is his last time appearing in Chicago. He cut a very emotional promo. He's interrupted by Sami Zayn, who says, "Yo, can I do the U.S. Open Challenge?" And Cena accepts. They have a match, and this was a solid back and forth affair with Cena hitting moves from some of his former opponents. He hit a spear, a GTS, an ankle slam, an ankle lock, but ultimately Brock Lesnar interfered this match into the no contest, and Brock says, Cena, I will see you at WrestlePalooza. Backstage, Nick Aldis was interrupted by Miz and Carmelo, and they're arguing about what do they really want. Miz wants the tag titles, Melo wants the U.S. title. Becky Lynch arrives with her own Intercontinental Championship. Won't cause Adam Pearce any trouble. Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. Black attacked Priest before the match. Ultimately, Priest won with the black mask, but I don't think this is over between the two of them. Where is Ron Killings? Orton McIntyre match is announced for next week. Also, Brock will return, and Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the Women's Championship was also announced. Nia steps up to Jay, and Jay's like, listen, you can get these hands, whatever. Julia defeated Michin to retain the United States Championship, and Kiana James attacked Michin after the match. Backstage, Charlotte Flair is injured, and Lexi confronts her with Dr. Lily. Seth Rollins cut his promo from the crowd, says Punk legend dies tonight. He introduces Becky, who insults the crowd, insults the team. Punk interrupts, and him and Becky are going back and forth with some words, and she again hits him, but he refuses to hit her. Teases back up, and AJ Lee makes a return, attacks AJ. The crowd is happy. Rollins and Lynch retreat up the ramp. So AJ Lee is officially back in the WWE, ladies and gentlemen. I just need a moment with AJ, Roxanne, and Lita all in the ring together, because Lita inspired AJ and AJ inspired Roxanne. So it's going to be good. Over on Collision, this was one of the best collisions in a very, very long time. It just felt different, if that makes sense. You get the thumbs up. We opened up with John Moxley defeating Dan Garcia in a really solid and brutal match. Garcia nearly won with the Dragon Team, but Moxley escapes and gets to the pin. Garcia's frustrated, and being good is not good enough. So something's happening here, because we've seen the Death Riders talking to Garcia and also talking to Chris Statlander. We get a recap of the Don Callis family with their attack on Hangman and Omega, putting Omega on the shelf. Big Bill and Brian Keith are backstage, and look, Big Bill buries Philly, talks about that night where he lost himself in Philly and calls out a New Yorker who we haven't seen in a while, and that would be none other than the Mad King himself, Eddie Kingston. Oh, inject that into my veins. FTR defeated Adam Priest and Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid, in a solid match, but FTR ultimately won with their Superplex Smash combo. And they cut a promo on Copeland Cage after the match. We got a video. Outrunners are in nature, and this is play on I believe the Predator movie, and it looks like they will be forming a group with none other than a Dalton Castle. Wow. Moxley addresses Darby, and he vows to solve the Darby Allin problem at All Out, and they'll be facing each other in a coffin match. Chris Statlander, Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, and Tony Storm defeated the Triangle of Madness and Megan Bayne. Everybody was banned from ringside. Statlander got the win after she used Wheeler Yuta seat belt pin. Let that sink in. After the match, all the Hills attacked Jamie Hayter, returned to make the save, and Tony laid down the challenge for her belt in a fatal four-way at All Out. So it would be her, Jamie, Thekla, and Stat with the Women's Championship on the line. We got an Ace Austin promo about the Bullet Code to prove himself, and then we get Austin and Juice discussing the futures of Colton and Jay White and get rid of the cardboard. So I'm assuming Ace Austin is going to join the Bang Bang Gang. It just makes the most sense. We got a pre-tape Mercedes Mone challenging Riho and Alex winning to a tag match, as she will be teaming with Emi Sakura, who trained Riho in the ring. Shivani confirms our matches for All Out. And Josh Alexander cuts a promo saying, yo, we're going to have this grudge match between him and Hangman on Dynamite. We got another clone video for Hologram and the conglomeration. We're trying to figure out what's up. And Roderick is just frustrated. Out in the parking lot, Jerry Lynn lectures Anthony Bowens on his decline in the main event. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Mark Briscoe in a fun, excellent match. MJF interfered, allowing Takeshita to get the W, which Takeshita didn't like. He attacks Briscoe and Takeshita pulls him off. And MJF and Briscoe brawl, so they will have a match at All Out. Our matches of the week from NXT: Lash Legend versus Jaida Parker. This was a AEW heavy week of wrestling. From Dynamite, Mercedes Mone versus Alex Winter for the AEW TBS Championship. Also from Dynamite, Brodido versus the Death Riders for the World Tag Team Championships. From Dynamite, also the All-Star 8-man tag, the Young Bucks, Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher versus JetSpeed, Adam Page and Kenny Omega. From Collision, John Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. And of course, the Konosuke Takeshita versus Mark Briscoe. And of course, you know who our star of the week is. It is none other than AJ Lee. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look at the screen what we got coming up. Greatly appreciate it. You know, check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 214 on Twitter. I see you when I see you. Peace.